Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, it's a bit of a different setting here today. I'm sitting in my garage, my man cave, if you want to call it that. I haven't been able to get out. Basically, it's just been non-stop wind and rain, probably for the past week at least. I think there was one day, it was maybe Sunday, where there was no rain, but I was busy, so I couldn't really get out anywhere. So, and just the way my shifts work at the minute, I'm working late, so I don't really have the availability to go out anywhere. So, what I thought I would do today, just as a bit of a change, really, is to maybe do a gear rundown. So just sort of talk about the stuff that I use whenever I go out, or the stuff that I'd chop and change from time to time. So, but it's essentially just stuff that I've gathered up since I started wild camping, and I would definitely still consider myself an amateur in this field, but as you'll probably grow to notice here, that a lot of this gear is I wouldn't really say cheap, but it is definitely budget gear in the grand scheme of things. My personal opinion is I don't really think there is much point, and especially if you're only starting out, to splash out on your really high end gear, especially if it's not something that you're really gonna enjoy after a while, or you don't know for certain if it's something that you're gonna enjoy. So although I would absolutely love some of the really high end tents and gear, um, me, like most people, just can't really afford it. It's not something that I can do. I don't have the luxury to go out and splash on a really expensive tent. Um, and gear as well. So what I'll do is, I think first of all is we'll get a coffee on the go here, and I'll use the first of the items that I'll talk about, which I have obviously had on numerous videos. Well, at least the past three videos anyway, that I got at Christmas, which was this Silver Ant stove. Now, ideally, what I'll do is I'll put links in the description for all of these items. I'm going to try. I know that because I've had some of these for quite a while now, especially the tents. I've got two tents, and I think both of them aren't available anymore. I think there's different versions of them that you can get. So I'll do my best to sort of, put it in the description anyway for something, even if it's not that particular one, it'll be one that is very, very similar to it. So yeah, what I'll do first is we'll talk a wee bit about this Silver Ant stove, and whilst I'm doing that, I'll get a coffee on the go. Alright guys, so as mentioned, what we're going to do is show you the Silver Ant stove. This one here, if you watch my previous video, I don't think this set is available anymore as a set. So you actually have to buy the stuff separately. You could have a look on the website. Again, I'll try and put a link in there for you just to check yourselves. But from what I remember looking at after getting this, again, this was a Christmas present, but after getting it, I think the stuff is sold separately. So you could have a look on the website and maybe see if it's back up there as a set. So it initially comes in these nice wee pouches to keep everything nice and neat and tidy. And that's my alcohol that I just filled myself. These wee bottles were just bought from a pound shop. They're just travel bottles for shampoo and things like that, but they come very handy for these sort of things. So this here is your mug that comes with it. If I'm right in saying, I think this might be about 500 ml, maybe 700. Again, no, you can tell I'm very clued in with this type of thing, but it is titanium, and it is great. I've used it a few times now, so this will definitely become my go-to stove when I'm out and about. Alcohol stoves will just be a lot more reliable in windy conditions, and rather than using your normal gas stoves. So this is the burner. As you can see, I don't know whether that's a thing with titanium, but it's turned like a purple hue from using it a few times. But the thing I did think was pretty cool is whenever the alcohol goes in here, these holes, as you can see around the side here, the flames come up through these holes, so I think it leaks in around this inner rim, or outer rim, sorry, and then as you'll see, the flames will come up through there as well as through here. It's also marked on the inside to give you the measurements. I think it's up to 60 ml max for your alcohol. Oh, stuff's running away from me here. So this is the cross section. You'll get them two along with it, and then in here will be your windshield. Now this can be a bit tricky to get back in the bag again, just FYI on that. So I had to sort of when I'm putting it together, I have to make it a lot smaller just so it'll fit in that bag. But there's your windshield. Again, great wee piece of kit. So let me get this in here. I don't think that's right. There we go. Again, it's really simple, straightforward, and yeah, it's just great that it comes with that windshield. So let's get the alcohol in here first. I don't want to take too long on this section because you've seen me use this before, and you know, I have a lot of gear to get through here, so just do this relatively quickly. Let me just get a match here. There we go. Set that off to the side. So we'll just put our windshield over here. Not that I'll really need a windshield considering I'm inside the garage, but let's get the cross section. I probably should have put the cross section on first, but again, silly me. I would advise not to try doing this while it's already lit. Hold on. Right, yeah, don't try and do that when it's already lit. Okay, so let's get some water in here. So I'll move this slightly over to the side a bit. Just let that boil. Just while I'm doing that, this is another thing that I normally take with me. The past few times I've just drank straight out of that because again, it's not that large, so you could just use that as your mug. I would just put you know, a tea bag in there and have it that way. But this here's just a wee travel mug, just pops down. Very, very handy for space. You know, got that one off Amazon as well. So just while I have it in front of me too, I'll show you this, which this is probably one of my favorite parts, which is the whiskey traveler kit. So I usually just at the end of the night when I'm out camping, after I've had a few beer, I'll normally just settle down with a wee glass of whiskey. So it comes like this here. Again, I don't know if this is available anymore. I think you might have to only buy them separately, or whether they have the glass, I'm not entirely sure, but again, I'll put the link up if I can. And there's your flask that it comes in. But I was really impressed with the glass and the craftsmanship of that glass. Like it's such a lovely glass. But there you go. So that's my little whiskey traveler kit. So as you can see, guys, that's it boiled now. I've just poured that in there. So that was pretty fast. I mean, obviously the conditions are that we're inside, so it is going to be a lot quicker. But yeah, I mean, it's a really impressive stove. I'll just let that burn out. I'll just take a wee minute or two, and I'll enjoy this coffee as well. All right, guys, so I think what I'll do now is I'll chat about the tents that I own, which is 2 tents, both of which are, I would definitely consider budget tents. I bought them for under £100. both of which I unfortunately don't think you can get anymore, but you can get ones very similar to it. So the first up is this one here called Night Cat. This was the first one that I got, and you can tell it's old because I don't think they have the logo like this anymore. I think a lot of people thought that logo was a bit naff, which I can totally understand. And what I'll do is I'll put some images up here, somewhere along there, so you can see it out in the getting used out in the open. And this logo of the big cat is a bit naff on it. It's massive on the side of the tent. But this is the first one I got, and I think it was roughly about £70 at the time. And I absolutely love this tent because it's like a palace. See, for one person, and even me being over 6 foot, this thing is huge, and it's a massive vestibule in it as well. So I would maybe not trust it in the worst of weather, you know, maybe the wind and rain. I wouldn't really, especially the winter, autumn, winter time. I don't use this tent at all, you know, for obvious reasons. I don't know if it would be able to hold up. It does come with quite a few guidelines already attached to it, maybe 5 or 6, so maybe it would be okay, but it is a big tent, so I don't know. And the inner mesh, you know, there's the sort of solid part of the inner mesh maybe only goes up a quarter of the way, so you could understand that it would be letting a lot of air in. Amazing for condensation, but not so great for cold weather. So and it is, as I say, it's quite heavy. I don't know the specifications in terms of weight, so I'll check back through my Amazon history and maybe see if I can get you that. But also comes with like this bag, but it all obviously comes like with this handle, so you can sort of carry it like that. It's really good time, but now that I'm feeling it is quite heavy, so I could understand why that would be maybe not the most practical if you were trying to take it out during the winter, considering you're going to be taking more gear with you, so therefore something like that probably wouldn't work. So the other tent is my Forsat tent, which is this one. So as far as I'm aware, this is an American company. Let me just adjust my mic here, sorry, because I'm conscious that I'm hitting it a lot with the stuff. So this is an American company as far as I'm aware. And I don't know if this particular model is available anymore. Again, I'll put pictures up here so you can actually see what this looks like when it's up. Again, if you've looked through my older videos, you'll have seen them. I love this tent. I see this tent here. This is probably the same price, I think, roughly as that one there, roughly in around £70–80. So definitely considering the budget range. But this here tent, if you look at, I think there's one that is incredibly similar to this. So I don't know if this is modeled off that or the other way around. I'd imagine this being a budget tent is probably modeled off that other one, but I'm nearly sure it was like a nature hike tent or something like that, which is identical to this. And I see a lot of people using it, but probably paid premium price for it. So this here is an amazing tent. It's really small. I say really small. It's not small. I'm over 6 foot. It's actually quite roomy inside for me, and I've had my daughter out in it as well. I don't know if, say, me and my partner would fit in it, but, you know, a man and a small child is fine. And we've had some great stays out in this. And the thing is with this is that the inner mesh is pretty solid, I think, up to maybe halfway, or could even be 3/4 of the way. So you are protected a lot from the wind, and I don't think I've ever had any condensation in this. I've also had it out in pretty bad weather. No, I wouldn't say extreme weather, and not out in the open in extreme, like up a mountain or anything like that, but in a forest or, you know, pretty bad downpours, and it's held up brilliantly. So it's a bit misshapen because I tend to just ram things back in again. And again, I'll see if I can get weight specifications on that one too. But an amazing tent, really, really good. I'm gonna say I have been a bit cheeky and I've been messaging. Well, I put a message into Nortent. I've seen a lot of people using that Vern one, and I think that's probably my ultimate tent. Like, if I want to aspire to get a Nortent. Say for instance this channel ever takes off and I manage to get one, so cheekily I messaged Nortent just saying, oh, you know, would love one of them tents. Of course, didn't mention anything, didn't reply to me or anything. I'm clearly not a big enough channel for that. So the next item I want to show is my rucksack, which is a Euro hike Nepal 65, 65 meaning 65 liters. So again, this is the only pack that I own, and I've been using this non-stop for all my camps. I do struggle to fit everything in it, but again, I think that's probably more down to me and the way that I pack things and weight management and whatnot. I need to be, you know, much better at it. But as you can, no idea what that was. As you can see there, it comes with the bottom part, can actually zip open, so you can get access to the bottom part, but so it can be an extra pocket at the bottom, as you can see. But also what you can do is inside of here, this inner part actually zips open, so you can use the full length of the pack, if that makes sense. So if you had a lot of stuff in there, but you could still open it here at the bottom to get access to the stuff quicker. There's also a decent sized pocket on the top there as well. Decent sized pocket on there too. I think this is widely available, this pack, and again, this is definitely along the sort of budget end. I think I maybe paid like 25 or 30 quid for this, but it is very, very comfortable. And if you look at the side here, you can see these metal bars that run along up in there to give you support, and then the handles themselves slide up and down to adjust, just, you know, depending on what way your weight management is. And you've also got these side handles that will come around your front, your hip, just to give you a bit extra support. Buckles on there. You've got your, pardon me, you've got your clips on here, so, you know, plenty of options to hang things from it as well. And then you've got this nice soft mesh there, very breathable too. So again, for a budget, that thing is amazing, really, really good. So just while I have this here, just in the pocket, I've noticed I've got this here, which my partner's friend got me this. She'll do that every now and again. It's just very nice that way. She'll get me some camping stuff randomly, so I really appreciate it. But this is, well, I think it's considered like a poo shovel. So if you're stuck out in the woods and you need to do the business, you know, this here packs down into a small shovel, and I'll just show you there. So that bends out like that, and this end screws on. And you got that there. So I've used this quite a lot, to be honest. I think this is a cracking wee piece of kit. I don't mean I've used it a lot to do a dump in the wood. I've used it for more other things, you know, like digging for the fire, and you know, it's got a serrated edge here on here as well, if you can see that. I don't know if that's showing up there too. I don't, that might be a bottle opener. I'm just realizing that now, that might be a bottle opener. But yeah, and then it's also got a compass on there too. So not that I'll be ever going somewhere where I'll be requiring a compass. I don't think I'll be venturing that far, not yet anyway, but eventually. So next I'll have a wee talk about the sleep system that I use, which is more or less hand-me-downs. Well, one of the items is, which is this, the sleeping bag. As you can tell, it's really badly packed. I'm not great at putting things away. Usually whenever I'm packing up the next morning, it's just get everything in and get out of there as quick as possible. So generally it's not packed the best, but I'll see if I can pull this out just so you can have a look at this. This was actually given to me by my brother-in-law. Way back whenever I was starting out, he just said, oh, I happen to have a sleeping bag there, and the name and all the specs have kind of faded out on this bag. So it's from a company called High Gear. So there's not really any specs on it, but let's be real, I've used this as a 4-season. the bag itself is actually really comfortable. It's not down or anything like that. I think it's just synthetic. But and unfortunately the zips broke on it as well, which is my fault. But it has been majorly comfy. I more use it as a duvet. I'm not a fan of sleeping bags, or especially the likes of mummy sleeping bags where you kind of feel claustrophobic. This here I just would more use as a quilt. Um, but I do use a liner, which I'll show you in a moment. Um, but if I could just find it, does have a hood on it as well. But yeah, the actual, yeah, so it's called High Gear Snoozer 400. So you could have a look. Again, I think I might have looked for this one time and I couldn't actually find it. So it could well be discontinued because I think he told me this is probably about 10 years old, this. But that's the only sleeping bag that I have and it's held up great. So just while we're on the topic there of the liner, so this here, I actually bought this from Temu. And of course, I never had any big expectations when I ordered this. I was just like, if it's not great, it's not great, because it probably only cost me like a tenner or something. Maybe slightly more than that. But in terms of the bag, it comes with a wee handle on there as well. But this is a lifesaver. So inside of my sleeping bag, I'll have this, which is a liner, which is just like a piece of fabric, but it has a zip all the way from the bottom right up to the top. So I would tend to just wrap myself in this and then, you know, use the sleeping bag as a duvet or a quilt. But it's nice material, and I was really surprised at that when it came from Temu, that it was decent. You know, it's definitely hit or miss. Temu, it's either really decent or really terrible. I don't think there's any in between, you know. So next up on the list of the sleep system items would be this, which is just like a foil. Well, you can tell it's a windscreen protector. So during the freezing cold weather, you would normally put this on your windscreen just to stop it freezing over. But I'd seen a few people use this before, and I was in Lidl one day and I seen it for a couple of pounds. I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. And I'm telling you now, that's one of the most essential items. Weirdly, considering there's only foil on one side and then it's just this foam on the other side, and obviously you would have the foil pointing upwards, so it's radiating the heat back up again. I can't get over how comfortable that is for something so simple that actually creates quite a bit of heat. So I would highly recommend that. Now, I did actually, whenever I initially started out, I thought most people would use one of these, which is like a yoga mat, which again is foil sided, and then you've got like a foam piece on it, very, very thin, but there's a foam bit on it there, or a foam side on it, sorry. But I would take the other one over that any day of the week. I have no idea why, but it's just so much more comfortable, and I just think it does a much better job of radiating the heat back at you. So I wouldn't bother with this, and I would get the windscreen protector. Totally worth it, totally worth it. Next up on the list, which I personally think is one of the most essential items, is an air mattress. Now, this one here is from a company called, as you can see, Barker's Rocks. I don't really know much about the company. All I know is I'm pretty sure they're an American firm. But it just kept coming up everywhere on my feed on Facebook one day, and I was needing to get a decent air mat. My last one was just one of the sort of cheaper Amazon ones, and it ended up deflating on me, and which isn't great. That's the last thing you want to happen. So basically, the air mattress to me is one of the most essential items, just purely down to the fact that I suffer from a bad back anyway. As much as I love wild camping, there's nothing worse than sleeping on a hard ground. Although my sister's partner can do it no problem. He doesn't even need anything. He can just sleep on the ground for some reason. I don't know. Man's an animal. Like. But yeah, so this here came up, and I ended up purchasing, I think it was around 50 quid, which I wouldn't really say for an air mattress is budget, is it? I don't know. I suppose you could pay way up into the hundreds of pounds for them. But the only thing I will say about this, I've had it out a few times, and unless I didn't have the right setup, in terms of, I don't know if I've used it with the windscreen foil mat thing. I think I've maybe used it with the yoga mat before, and I did feel the cold ground coming up through. Now this has apparently got an R value, I think of around 4 or 5. But the couple, well, especially one of the times I used it, I really did feel the cold up coming up through the ground, which is definitely not supposed to happen. So I don't know. I was so tempted about, you've always got that thought of cutting it open just to have a look inside and see if they were actually telling the truth and that there was, because I think when it's R value, they must have some sort of foil built into the air mat itself to radiate the heat back. So yeah, I'm still not sold on this yet. I'm gonna try it another couple of times. One thing I will say, it does pack down quite small, so it's definitely good that way. So yeah, I'll get back to you on that in terms of whether that's really worth the money or not. But again, I will try and put the link in for you. So that's mainly all of the sleep system. I think maybe there was one other item which was just this, which is an inflatable pillow. No special make or anything, it's just Halford's. My wee brother gave me that. I don't think I'm used to these sort of things. What I personally prefer to do is bring a pillowcase with me and literally just put my jacket or my clothes inside of that. So if I'm not using my raincoat or anything, and I'm getting into bed for the night, I'll actually stuff my pillowcase. I'll stuff an empty pillowcase full of the clothes that I'm not using, and that does it for me. But obviously that's not going to be the same for everybody. A lot of people need a pillow, but I feel like it raises up too much and I feel like they're too squeaky and just not the best. So I really do need to sort out my pillow, get a decent one. I don't know, I just haven't really found one that suits me yet. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is the cook set, which is this one. Now it does come in a bag, and this is definitely by far the sort of budget range that you would tend to get on Amazon, but that by far does not mean that it is bad quality. I've used this quite a number of times and I think this is fantastic. This as you can see, has the pot and then the lid on the top, and then that comes a lot off there. And I actually use this as well as a little cup, and then you've got your handles that go like this. So that is really, really good. And obviously it's a lid for the pot too. And then you've got your pot. Again, same type of thing, it's got the handles on it. And that is 800ml, so it's plenty. So a lot of the time I'll just take the really simple meals and cook them in that. But that is a great set. I'm gonna say that was in the region of about £15 to £20 at the time. And I honestly don't think there's any reason to spend upwards of 50 quid, even upwards of 30 quid maybe, on these type of things, because realistically, as long as they cook your food, that's the main thing. Now that there does actually come with this as well, which is that'll come inside of it, and then inside of there is this, which is the burner. As you can see, I have no idea why it doesn't tend to focus, it just focuses on the face. But anyway, as you can see, that's it there. And then these wee legs will actually fold out like this. And then that just holds your pot steady. And then it's got the wee igniter there. And this one in particular, I don't know if they all do, but this one here has a clicker in there. So that helps you light it. Now, one thing you need to be really careful of, which I did nearly do myself, was the gas. I tend to get these wee Coleman ones. I think these are fantastic, these wee, because they're so small. I can't actually tell you, 240 grams. So these ones here are really good because they obviously are so small, this can actually fit inside the pot. So it means everything can just pack together as one rather than having a load of separate things. They do actually do the bigger versions of these, which I do have one up on the shelf there, but they're much bigger, bulkier, and a lot more awkward to carry with you. But the reason I said to be careful is on here, you can see this is a screw top. And some of the gases actually don't have that. They're more of a clip-on. So you need to be aware that these type of burners tend to have the screw top on them, so they'll screw directly onto that. And then obviously you've got your igniter and you can light it, but just be careful whenever you're purchasing these. But they're about £6, maybe £5, something like that. So they're really good, and they do last quite a long time as well. So if I'm ever out and I'm looking to cook stuff that doesn't require the frying pan, then obviously I'll take this. And then obviously with the stove, I haven't really used that small stove yet. The past few times I've been using my you know, the kindling box to cook on as well with the sandwich maker. So that's what I've used the past few times. But whenever I'm actually out wild camping, I do tend to take the gas, the pots and the pans, and then obviously the burner with it as well. So definitely an essential item, and not very costly too. Next on the list is a table. This one's got from Trickology. I've only had this out a few times, and the reason for that is the length is obviously quite long and thin. I can usually slide it down the back of the backpack, but to me it does take up quite a bit of room. So I did make the decision the past couple of times to not bring this with me, especially when I was out at the forest just doing the breakfasts and things like that, because I had that tree stump that was perfect for a table, so I didn't need that. But what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to show you closer here just so you can see it actually being set up. So as you can see, guys, this one is from Trickology. I think this is in the region of about £20 to £25, this one, and again I'll put a link in the description. I think this is a great wee piece of kit, especially if you wear out, not in the woods, but you know, out in the hills or whatever. And as you know yourself, the ground's always uneven, so putting your cups and plates and things onto the ground is a wee bit of a nightmare. So this just keeps everything nice and level. I really like the colour of it as well. And this folds out like this. Now, you'll have to bear with me here. I haven't done this in a wee while. So just bring the light, this here over here, and this one over here, and then it just slides on to the wee hooks, and then like that, and you've got your table, which to me is a great wee item just to have stuff to set on when you're out. So the next stuff I'm going to talk you through is my electronics that I would always take with me. Now I bought these bags. I think these actually came from Temu or Shein or something like that, which are just waterproof bags with fold down tops and clips as well, which I think these are really handy just to have stuff in. Obviously, if you've got all your electronics, you want them to be as protected as possible from any sort of moisture. So I'll just show you what I actually take. Now, whether I use some of this stuff, you know, is probably unlikely, but there are definitely essentials in here. Now, one of the things is a head torch. I think for the money spent, a head torch is really important. I bought myself some new lights there a short while back. That was a battery, by the way, that fell out, so don't worry. Which are these lights. I actually wanted to go for something that had a bit of a warmer glow to it. I just find that the sort of white lights just give a kind of cold effect, where if you have like a lovely warm glow, then it just, I don't know, it just makes you feel warmer even if it's not. So that one there kind of gives off a sort of warmish glow to it. And these are really, really good. These actually have quite a bit of battery life to them, and 5 volt. Yeah, so they have different settings on them, so you get your full beam, your short beam, and then, or your small beam, sorry, and then you got flash. Cool thing about these is you can actually, so they actually double up as chargers as well. So you know, it's got an input and an output. Obviously the input being that, you know, you would charge it via this input, which is a USB-C. But say you have it fully charged and for whatever reason you are unlucky, you're in a situation where your power bank has failed, your battery's running low, you can actually charge your items with this light. using a normal USB. So say you have a charger lead with you or something, you could just plug it in there and that will actually charge whatever it is, say your phone. Now it's likely to be your phone, but there you go. So I actually bought 2 of them. I think they were semi-expensive. They might be in the region of about 15 to 20 quid, I think, for the 2 of them. So definitely great item. So the next, this is definitely essential to me anyway. This is a power bank. This one was bought off Amazon, and it's classed as fast charging, but to be honest, I don't think it is. I think most of them things are the same. They're not really fast charging, even though they say they are. But at the same time, it is essential to have something like this with you. You don't want to be in a situation where you've your phone's, ran out of battery, and you're unavailable to call anybody, or you can't receive any calls. So, in an emergency situation, you needed to get hold of anybody and your battery's dead. This is a great piece of kit to have. I had a smaller one initially that I got from, I think it was Asda or something. I'm pretty sure it's Asda. Yeah, it says Asda on the back. Now this is really cheap. I think this was probably like, was it even a tenner? Well, it shows 4 bars, so there must be power in it. But that took absolutely forever to charge. So I would actually have to leave that on overnight to charge, and then it would be flat by the morning. Whereas this one here is a beast. This thing actually has a torch on it as well. How do you use a torch? Oh, there you go. Just hold the button in. So it's got a torch on it as well, which is pretty cool. It's got 2 USBs, the standard connections, and then it's got a micro USB and a USB-C. So it's got plenty of connections on it. One thing I will say, it takes absolutely forever to charge this, but when it is charged, it lasts a long time. So it's able to power several items. So I've powered several items at once from this. So the light, my phone, and it's still held the charge. So it's an essential piece of kit there. So that was from Amazon, and again, I'll try and get the link in the description for you. These here were actually given to me by my brother. My wee brother bought me these, which are just a set of hand warmers. So battery might be dead on them. No, it's got 3 settings. You can tell because the wee dog on it. 1 light on, 2 light, 3 light, and then they heat up pretty quickly, to be honest with you, and they clip together. So I find them quite good. I tend to slip them inside my gloves, and just, if my hands are absolutely freezing, I'll just hold on to them, and it'll give me that wee bit of heat for a minute or two, which is pretty cool. So next piece of kit is my small air pump. This was got from Amazon as well. It's got a wee hook on it just to hold, because the reason for that is there's actually a wee light on it. Oh, there it is. Or you can flash, or red. This is USB-C powered, and it's also got a USB connection on there as well. I guess you could probably double it up as a charger too. So it is handy that they do these things with a lot of these items now, because they probably realize, it would be better to have that in an emergency situation, that you've got something as a backup to charge. But yeah, so that's it there. It's not your flex tail or anything like that. Again, this is all sort of budget gear. So I honestly, at this moment in time, I don't know how much this was, but I think, you're probably talking around 10 or 15 pound. But it definitely is handy, especially for the likes of the air mattress and things, pillows or whatnot, that can pump it up extremely quickly. And obviously, because you're not using your breath, there's not going to be any moisture trapped inside the item. So this is one of the newer items that I obtained, which again, you might have seen I described in one of the other videos, which is a bow saw, which is incredibly cool because it packs down to this small thin tube. But again, I'm just going to show you what it looks like when I put it together. So this end just screws off. This is an Amazon purchase. I'm pretty sure I had a look the other day and it was still on there, so I should be able to put that in for you just to have a look at it. So it comes with 2 blades, as you can see. But I just really think this is a cool piece of kit here, especially considering it packs down so small. So what we want to do here is put this together here. So this connection goes through here, and this one through here. So you get them in like that. Now what we want to do here is run this through, all the way through to the other side. There we go. And that's just going to screw on the end. Just get this screwed right. I'm not going to screw it fully just yet until I get the blade on it. So these are the two blades that you get with it. I haven't actually had an opportunity to use this properly yet, but the blades just slide up in there. Up in there. Yeah, so I need to loosen this slightly. Just get this loosened here. Then your blade just slides up in, and then you just tighten it via this screw here. Oh, there's the blades come out. There you go. Oh, there you go. So that's it on there. So that's the bow saw now. So you can tell that's a really cool piece of kit, considering that a lot of them bow saws do tend to be quite bulky and big. Now, whether this holds up or not is another question. I don't know yet. I'm hoping that it'll be okay to use and it'll not fall apart on me in the first use. But, you know, given it's metal and the blades seem of decent quality, I think it's likely to be a decent piece of kit. So let me get this off again, and then I'll just pack this down for you quickly, just so you can see how simple it is. Alright, so I'm going to put these together, run that through, and then just put this in here, all the way through. Get the two blades in. Yeah. Why is it always easier the first time? Oh yeah, I get what I've done wrong. This is actually supposed to go up through here. It's more like it now. There you go. That's it now. And then that end part just screws on as well. So that's it packed down then. So there you go. Really good item. Really good. I think again that probably you're looking between 20 to 30 pounds for that one, but definitely worth it. So the next item I want to talk about then is a tarp that you've probably seen me use once or twice, which is this one. This is a Unigear. Unigear seems to be quite a renowned brand. I've seen them doing a lot of different stuff, and they always seem to be fairly decent. I had a wee look there online just before I started the video, and this here comes in all different sizes, so you can get larger ones in it, but I think this is a smaller one, which is 3 meters by 3 meters, or 300 centimeters, whatever way you want to look at it. And this being the smaller version is around £20. I'll put the link in the description, but you have seen me set this up, and if you go and have a look at the last video there, I had it actually set up. And it's great. This, I really do like this piece of kit. I think this is essential for any sort of woodland camps, and yeah, great protection. So not much really to be said on this, just the fact that it is a good piece of kit. and it comes with the bag. It comes with 6 pegs, if I'm right in saying that, potentially 6 pegs. I also tend to take these with me too, and these were bought off Temu, it could have been, which is just some extra guidelines. Next up is the seat, which again you've probably seen me use on the past few videos. This is an item that I actually did want for a long time. I've seen quite a number of wild camping YouTube channels use this. Trickology, pretty solid brand as well. As you can tell, the table was Trickology as well. This is just basically a fold down chair, and you've likely seen it everywhere. You'll get it on Amazon. I think this could be in the region of about 50 quid, something like that. One of the other things I wanted to look at as well, this here, by the way, is, I'm pretty sure, another Temu purchase. It actually does have a bit of paint and stuff on it because it was up on the roof, my garage roof, trying to fix it, and there's a lot of stones up in the roof, and obviously kneeling down on stones wasn't too nice, so this here kind of helped keep me protected, but I did end up getting like bit of silicone and whatnot on it. But this here, I would say, is definitely an essential piece of kit as well when you're out camping. Just if you're kneeling to get in and out of the tent, this is great to keep you, obviously, your knees from getting wet. Also, when you're inside the tent for the night and you want to put your shoes out, but you don't want them sitting on the wet, boggy ground, then yeah, get yourself one of these. Again, a few pound off Temu. This here was a purchase that was got just around the summertime, because it's just the sheer issue that we have with midges in this country is so bad in Northern Ireland. So if you're ever out, you know, whether it be woodland or anywhere really, like during the warmer months, the midges are killer, really bad. I think this might be a Scottish company, because I know the Scots definitely get midges worse than us. If there's anywhere in the world that gets them the worst, it's definitely going to be Scotland. But yeah, Smidge is the name of the company. I can't honestly tell you how much that was. Should be able to get you a link on it, but I'm going to demonstrate what it looks like here just so you can have a right laugh at this. So it's just basically, you know, just stick it over your dome. Oh, this actually smells nice. It must have been wearing aftershave the last time I used this. So there you go. You look ridiculous, but trust me on this, this actually does protect you really well against the midges. So, you know, anytime you're out, you'll have to just sort of lift it up to take a drink or a smoke or whatever you're doing. But yeah, so the last few items here I'm going to have a look at. I mean, one of the things you've already seen, which was this toasty maker, which I've used quite a number of times. My sister's partner got me this, so I can't be entirely sure where he got it from, but it was a Secret Santa gift, and this thing's been amazing the past few times I've used it. Yeah, obviously it's versatile, so you can cook so many different things in that, but that's amazing. That I really love that. Next item, which again is one that is quite popular and been used quite a number of times, is the One Tigris box stove. I will include an image of me with it already set up and lit, but again, something that you've seen me use in the past few videos. If you go back and look at least the past 3 videos, I've used this thing, which I absolutely love. It just comes in this nice wee pouch, and they're all just slides of metal that all go together to create a timber box. And I know I keep calling it a stove, I have a habit of calling it a stove, but it's a timber box. And yeah, a cool piece of kit here is the folding saw that I have, which is this one from a company called Draper. I just picked this up from a local hardware store in Portrush, and yeah, I think it's really cool because it comes with the attachment for your belt, and I think this is a really cool item. Obviously, you'll not be able to do big trees or anything with it, but you know, it's got the button, and then it opens out like this. So it's just good for cutting, you know, your medium to small deadwood, cutting it down, processing it. That there's decent for that. So I can't put a link on this, so you might be able to have a look at that online, but in and around the region. I think I paid £11 for that one. And this one is my axe, which is from, well, it says Forged Steel. I don't know if that is the name of the company or it's just saying it's made from Forged Steel, but um, that was picked up from Screwfix. Again, these sort of regular tools that you day-to-day tools that you can usually pick up in your hardware stores. So that is the axe that I got from Screwfix, and I think that was probably 15 to £20 on that one as well. So again, something that I personally find is quite handy to have when you're out in the woods and processing the wood down. So definitely recommend that. So the last couple of items I'm going to show you guys is just a couple of hats that I got. This one here is like a what we call a trapper's hat, I guess, and just keeps you warm in the winter time, especially around the ears. It's a lovely material. This was got off Amazon. So I'm not going to be on the front of any modeling magazines, but I think something like this can be essential when you're out. You know, let me get this. Got buttons at the bottom, and then that keeps your ears nice and warm and your head nice and warm. So this is great, this thing. So yeah, be one that I'll be using. The next one is just a standard woolly hat, but it actually has a light built into it. And my mom got me this, I think, for Christmas one time. So again, not that I necessarily need to model it or anything, but different settings. I think this one's hilarious because if somebody seen me coming, they would think it was the cops. But yeah, so that's another great item. All right, so that's basically it, guys. That's everything that I own. Probably a few things I've missed out on, which, you know, would be the likes of the fire steel, which, you know, you've seen me use before, which is just these here. But I will try and put a link in the description for these. But again, you'll probably find them pretty standard on the likes of Amazon and things, for lighting your fires, fire steel rod, with the striker as well. So if you go back through the last couple of videos, you'll have seen me use them. But that's it. So it does seem like a lot of items, and when you consider, when you talk about budget, you think to yourself, well, that's a lot of items. But you have to imagine I've probably been doing this about 2 years now, off and on, not steady, but off and on. So I've slowly gathered up the items over time. When I originally started out, I basically just had a tent. I don't even think I had an air mat at the time. So it was just a tent and the sleeping bag, and that was it. And I just took some food with me, and off I went, and a couple of beers too, I think, and had the best night ever. And I thought, right, you know, I'm just going to start doing this more often. And as time went on, then I just slowly built things up as well, you know. But they're definitely, nearly all of it is all budget stuff. Don't get me wrong, if I had the money, yes, I probably will eventually start buying the more expensive items. But for the time being, this is all you need, really, to go out and have a good time. Just get yourself some food, sleep system, and a tent. And that's really all you need for at least the first few times to see whether you like it or not. And then if you pick up on it, then you can just continue to get more items and just build them up over time. I do enjoy also doing a bit of bike packing. I've just started to really get into that as well. But again, I'm doing it on a super budget bike. I think it was like £100 and something that bike. I do have a really good road bike, but it's kind of out of commission at the minute. It needs fixed up, which I'm potentially going to try and tackle myself. I don't know. But in terms of the hybrid bike, I think it was maybe £120 at the time. And it's a heavy brute. But when I put the panniers on the back of it with the bags on the bag that I got from Timu, I'm able to pack everything on there and do a bit of bike pack. And so definitely come summertime, I'm going to be doing a lot more of that, cycling from the house, just around the north coast, finding a decent spot and then setting up camp for the night. So, but yeah, so that's it really. I know it's been a bit of a different video, but the weather's miserable, so I thought I would just, you know, talk about the gear that I have. Why not? Just to give people an idea if they'd maybe be interested in it. You know, it's something that they could look into. So if you have any questions or anything like that, then feel free to drop me a message, and I'll hopefully be able to get back to you anyway. So, or just put a question in the comments, and I'm happy enough to answer. So I hope you enjoyed the video anyway, and I'll catch you next time, guys. See you later. Just as a wee bonus here, guys, I want you to meet my dog, Ollie. He's an idiot, but we love him. All right, boy.